Welcome everyone to another episode slash dumpster fire slash whatever the hell this is going to be of Trek Talk. I'm TechMan16.
I'm drifting in and
And I'm
out.
and I'm handy.
Okay. Well, today we're gonna do all sorts of stuff with Ripper today. He should be scared. Hey Ripper, how you doing?
I'm doing good
That's
so far.
that's great.
We'll see how
That's
that
great.
how that will be in a bit.
You're gonna have fun here. After this show, you're gonna go to DJ's show and you're gonna be like, yeah, that show was more fun. I was more free to do what I want.
I mean, as long as we don't have stupid news, it's already better, isn't it?
We don't have stupid news, no.
There you go.
We just have stupid people.
That's funny. Anyways, I've been pretty much away from the game for about a week and a half because I've been going through an FDA audit and it's been wildly stressful and super time consuming and very mentally draining. So I haven't had much time to catch up on anything, but that doesn't matter because the game is ever expanding. So I have no idea what's going on server 34. Seems like everybody's moving around. Um, I've been keeping up to date with server 38 though. That's been fun. We could talk about that later. But and I haven't been watching Lower Decks. So and Cook's not even here to talk about it. So we can skip that part. But Handy and Kirk, so can you enlighten me on what the fuck's been going on 34? Because I'm just so out of the loop. Everybody's moving around everywhere. I can't keep track of people. They're just like they're in and out of one alliance into another alliance. Can you explain all that?
I mean, essentially, Dark is they are merging with the server. The entire server, they're merging, and they're gonna take people from everywhere and let them come to Dark to play, and then sometimes they go home, sometimes they stay in Dark. Who knows? It's
That's
just a Dark revolving door, but they're having fun with it, from what I understand. And
sounds like a poorly constructed mind meld.
yeah, it's and I'm making a latte. Sorry. So basically, yeah, that's what's going on.
So
But
Dark,
it looks like for example, like Medic went back to MBD from Dark. He's been at Dark for a long time now. He went to back to MBD, and so I message Epi, and I'm like, so I see Medic's back. You told me that he's never coming back. He goes, oh, he's visiting. Well, visiting. Okay. So essentially, I think a lot of the people that are in Dark are visiting, and then a lot of the people from Dark and other alliances are visiting. So
yeah, because I saw that and I'm like, and then I think at one point I saw Raptor and Most, and I'm just like, that is an oddity.
well, most specifically, they're doing like a more focused kind of merger thing.
You mean they're doing like a prisoner exchange?
Kind of, yeah.
I see.
And some people from Dark are going over and hanging out. What will end up happening, I suspect, is that Dark will end up with probably the more active players from most, and then maybe a few people from Dark will go play at most, and it'll probably just stay like that. Would be my guess. I have no idea though. We'll see.
All right, yeah, because I saw Q in Dark, and I'm like, well, that's weird.
Like Grand Admiral Q?
Yeah, like Grand Admiral Q.
That is strange.
And then I saw
Of all
Trillium
people.
in Dark for a little bit, and I'm just like, Like my eyes go bonkers. Like I'm getting cross-eyed. I'm like,
Yeah,
something's
we
not
have
right.
players wanting to visit Dark also. They see everybody else doing it, and I guess that, makes them want to do it too. It's like a big chain reaction. It's really interesting. People are funny. What are you gonna do?
Yes, yes. There's the sheep. Oh, I'll share you a hilarious story I had last night with MCRN, which was which I find funny. I'm sure other people will find funny too. Anyway, so I'm getting low on ISO, and my first target usually. I mean, I rotate, but usually my first target is MCRN because they're the mining alliance. And so I take my Vidar, I load it up with Ston, so I have about 400k cargo, and I go around and I hit a guy from MCR. I'm not going to mention names, but I hit him, and then he had two Meridians mining, and they were both about 180, 190,000 OPL ISO 2. And so I hit one of his Meridians. He warps the other one out. I hit three others in the system. I take home about 340 total just from that one trip. And then he messages me and he's saying, I usually leave out a second Meridian that's lower in cargo, for the lazy players. You should really hit that one because you just wasted my OPL. And I'm just like, oh boy, I wonder what this means. And like, all right, man, I'll bite. What do you mean I wasted your OPL? He's like, I was OPL at 270k or something, and then you got 190. That means 60k went out the window. Like nobody got it. And I'm just like, I don't think that's how it works because there's nothing lost if you mine anything. Somebody always gets something.
Well, how does
But
that work, Ripper? Ripper would probably know, just because.
I mean, whatever you can't hold just
Well,
disappears into nothingness, into
so
the
it does.
void.
It disappears, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
you
gone.
don't end up getting it. He is correct, Tech. It goes away.
The 60k disappeared into the void.
Yes,
why would it disappear into the void if you can only hold so
because
much?
Scopely sucks.
No, but you get the rest of that
You
when you're
get your protected, but that's it.
In PvP, you only keep what's protected,
Yeah,
regardless of how much the enemy can hold,
right.
or the attacker.
whatever.
I
And
think.
in any case, I'm like your math is wrong. I have about 400k cargo capacity, so you're 60. I don't know what you're talking about. You weren't 270k OPL because I scanned your ship twice before I hit it.
Okay, so he's just a retard.
Yeah, pretty much. Um. Anyways, then he proceeds to go down the lazy narrative, right? Because I'm
Sure.
lazy and I'm not, I can mine the stuff myself and whatnot. And he's like, no, dude. If you look at my alliance, I have no territory, so I can't really mine any ISO. That's why I'm hitting OPL. It's just a means to an end.
All
And
right.
he's like, but I thought people with no territories can't mine 3-star. I'm like, no, buddy, it's 2-star and 3-star. It's like, oh, okay. I retract my lazy comment then. Like, but you should really go after the lower meridians because of the protected cargo. I'm like, dude, I have 400k cargo capacity on my Vidar. I don't know what you're talking about with this. Go for the lower meridians. And
He's
then,
he's talking about other people, not you.
right.
Like
So
he's
anyway,
projecting.
he's projecting. I go and hit his buddy who had 345k 3-star ISO. I'm like, see, I hit him for 345,000. I took it all. It fit in my cargo capacity. And and then that other guy starts messaging me like, hey, I thought we were no hit on ISO. I'm like, oh my god. Like, yes, if you can mine it, you don't hit it. But I don't have territories, so this is a means to an end. thank you for your donation. And he goes, okay, cool, got it. So I'm like, I'm kind of dumbfounded. I'm like, I thought we went through the whole iterations with everybody about this. But
Even people that know will still send messages like that. Because the reality is we don't want anybody to take our ISO, right?
right.
I mean,
Everybody
that's
gets,
the reality.
but they specifically put out ISO miners for others, and then all of a sudden, hey, wait a minute, that ISO that I put out for others,
Well,
why
how
did
the
you?
fuck are you supposed to know?
Yeah.
I guess you should just PM first.
Apparently,
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me.
in
Could
about
I?
5 minutes,
May I have
my
another? No, but you should really. I mean, I prefer when people message me first. I mean, just ask. 9 times out of 10, I'll just say, yeah, go for it.
No, fuck that. I'm just taking your shit. I'm not gonna ask permission to rob your house. Shut up.
Yeah, I'm with Kirk on that. I'm not asking permission. Fuck that. You're showing cargo. I'm taking it. Well,
There are some exceptions, like if we're in deep space and there's no nodes open, like I'm not really interested in getting OPL. So I might send a message be like, yo, your OPL, I'm gonna take your node because I'm not really after the OPL, I'm after the node. Like, so there's a reason for that. Or if somebody is OPL in certain situations with like a G4 miner, I might say something depending upon the situation. I might not. But yeah, for the most part, like I'm not gonna like, choreograph my existence. I'm not gonna ring the doorbell and be like, hey, by the way, at 3 a.m. We're gonna invade your house. Just so you know, just giving you a heads up, just being nice, good neighbor. Like no, I'm kicking your shit in and taking the fucking TV and leaving. I need
Yeah, that's how
crack,
most people
motherfucker.
do it. So, anyways, so yeah, but so in deep space the other day, it's during the mining event, and I go to level 50 first. Every single node's taken, and Dentarth is there, and he's on 2 nodes. I'm like, okay, so I message him. Well, hey, Dent, you mind giving one of those nodes up? I say there's an event going on and there's lots of people looking at mine. I'm just trying to get my SMS done. He'd have it back. Doesn't respond. Okay. I go to level 48. All the nodes are taken. No zeros. And then I just keep going down the list all the way down to the very bottom. And this is gas. So I check every single freaking system except for the node swap system where they flip in I only went through the faction systems, but everything was taken. Literally every single system had all the nodes taken. So I fly back up to 50. I spent 45 minutes on this, by the way. So I message him again at about 30 minutes. I'm like, hey man, I'm like, it's a busy day. All the nodes are taken. And you're sitting on 2 in level 50 area, which is extremely, like, we have lots of level 50s, and you're hogging 2 nodes. So I'm like, you got to give one of those up, buddy. Doesn't respond. But okay. So I take like a Findra or something like that, and I summon it all the way up there. I tap him with my Findra. Of course, it blows up. Still nothing. I wait another like 10 minutes. Still nothing. I'm like, okay, fuck this, dude. So I message him a few more messages, and then I just blew him up. And I'm like, hey, I'm really sorry. I need to mine. I'm not gonna hunt around anymore. I'm just gonna blow your shit up and mine. Like, you shouldn't be mining 2 nodes up here. It's kind of a dick move in a situation like this. And I explained it to him. Blow him up. I start mining. Then he freaks out and he goes around and starts blowing up other people in Nona, of course, and starts hitting everybody he can find that's like 0, I think. Yeah, 0. He went after all the 0 nodes. And he got super butthurt about it, ended up dropping tags and I'm just like, dude, I'm like, why can't you just admit that sitting on 2 nodes of the same type right next to each other in the highest possible system is kind of a dick move? Like, does anybody agree with me here, or am I just crazy?
The fact that you spent 45 minutes searching already shows you're crazy.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
But anyway, so why do we have Ripper on? Ripper doesn't want to listen to us talk shit.
Because we invited him on.
Yeah.
Or does Ripper want to listen to us, our fucking OPL stories?
Well, really, we want to.
I mean, you know, I have nothing better to do anyways.
Damn, that's I feel insulted, to be honest.
I mean,
like,
I
heard
do, but
I have nothing better to do.
I can do
but
both things at the same time, is what I'm saying.
But like, what you said was I have nothing better to do. What I heard was, and what I'm sure you meant was, that's the only reason I'm on this lame ass show, because I'm bored. So, you know.
That's not true.
No, that's not.
Is it not? Is it not?
He's just fucking with you, Ripper. Just curse him out. You son of a bitch, Kirk. What's wrong with you?
It's accurate.
So Ripper, how's ISO hunting on your server?
Probably the Wild West.
He's on a European server. He probably doesn't communicate with most people because he can always feign the I don't speak English part.
Fair enough. Ripper.
What?
He's asleep.
We asked you a question.
Sorry, I wasn't listening.
I rest my earlier case.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. I was distracted. Someone had an inquiry. Go ahead.
How's
ISO hunting on your server?
Isogen is protected on my server. There's no hunting.
Period. No matter what.
Isogen is protected in our ROE, regardless of 0 overcargo, everything.
No.
There's some rare oddballs that sometimes, hunt them. I have my meridians sometimes 2 days straight on a 0 node. They don't get killed.
Holy crap. So, what about your own alliance? Do you have like an excess of nodes, or do you have your own people getting pissed that you're taking up a 0 node for days?
Usually we have enough. We have one like T1, T2, and T3 isogen nodes. Usually plenty.
Yeah.
Usually.
All right.
So yeah, it's no real hunting going on my server. It's pretty lame.
Is it a pretty dead server then? Like not a lot of people doing a lot of stuff?
No, I think what he
it's
means
not dead
is
server.
A lot of the EU servers are lower level. Like, so Ripper's a 46, and he's in the top 10 power, or around top 10.
Yeah.
He's told me before, and
we have 150.
Yeah, so for him, I would imagine a lot of people don't want to upset him, so he probably gets left alone.
I've also haven't used the shield in over a year.
Yeah, neither have I. I mean, it's just unnecessary with TC.
Well, try to crack somebody.
Even before then, I haven't used one because there was no reason.
Really? Nobody could blow up your base?
I don't know if they couldn't. They just didn't try.
That's weird.
You know,
I know.
What's funny to me is that I feel like since we're talking about how the EU servers are generally the power average is lower than ours,
Well, that and they're more peaceful.
I feel like well, dude, come on, man. The U.S.'s chief export is like warfare. You know what I mean? Like we're great at it. That's how we were founded. So,
I mean, technically, like
that's
the US does not make the best weapons, but oh well.
Yeah, but we just overwhelming supply, and it works.
Fair enough.
I'm just saying we have war perfected. Okay, it's an art form. So number one, number two, since there's such a lower level, does that mean that Europeans are smarter with their money than we are? I like to think it is.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
I'll bet they're smarter with their money, and they probably waste less time on shenanigans.
Well, I mean, you've heard from other people on different servers that we've had on here from the European community, right? Like, most of the German alliances are happy-go-miner alliances. The only real problem children on the servers are the British or the Americans that are on those servers.
Yeah. Typically.
Yeah, it's a lot of Germans around on the EU servers, as far as I know. And they're all like, "Let me alone. Leave me alone. I want to mine." I don't know why. It doesn't make any sense.
They like Farmville.
I mean, there is, Farming Simulator is a thing that's actually not that small in the German community.
Yeah, that's interesting.
It must be a culture of like we were done fighting after World War II. Like, just leave us alone.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know. I mean, I personally don't, except Isogen, I don't do any mining at all because I find it pointless. But yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Why do you find it pointless?
It is pointless. Well, go ahead.
Because I don't need like G3. It doesn't really matter that much to me anymore, and G4 just doesn't move the needle enough, and I get annoyed. If I need like 10,000 uncommon G4 and I get 20, why?
Do you just buy packs then to supplement? Is that what you do?
Sometimes I do. Not always. I mean, events pay out good enough. And then you do scrapping as well. Scrap ships. You get by. But
if you don't mind, do you just have like a bunch of stockpiles of G3s in order to upgrade your ships to get G4s? Is that what you have?
Yeah, pretty much. And events still pay out G3, so you get stuff as well. And I don't need any for research anymore. The only need for G3 I have is for scrapping ships.
Yeah.
It's the only need for G3 I have. So, it just accumulates.
Same for me.
I mean, that's just a symptom of just buying a bunch of packs, right? To level up. That you have all this excess.
That's just the economy, the mid 4-star economy.
So does that mean your events pay out a ton of G3s? Is that?
It's not a ton. It's a bit more than compared to 39, as far as I know. Like at this point, I mean, in the beginning of G4, it wasn't the case, but now you do get quite a bit of G3 as well in events.
Okay, because for example, I'm a level 35. Because I want to break this down. I'm a level 35. If I complete one of those daily research events, right, that you do like 2 or 3 researches.
I mean, like, the daily events are they are not. Those are G4 only.
Okay, so those are G4 for you. Okay, all right.
But those are not paying much anyways. It's like the ARC events, those and the battle pass.
Okay, so you're saying like the elite battle pass still pays you G3?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And
that's a bit more G3 than compared to 39 as well.
Okay.
So you get G3 there, and all the daily battle pass events. I mean, this month we don't get any because it's like event store, but usually those have also, materials and resources
Oh,
that
okay. So,
pay
so you can
G3
buy
and
stuff.
G4 as well.
All right. So you can buy stuff from the event store. Okay. All right. And then what other events give you a bunch of G3s?
And Parabellum is one. That gives a lot of gas. And yeah, those daily arc events usually, like
And the daily
wedding events and
archivist.
stuff.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Because I'm just curious. Like I can I keep buying or not buying, but I keep getting a bunch of tritanium and dilithium from a bunch of events, so I never run out of those. But the G3s I'm always hurting for because I'm trying to obviously build or upgrade my ships.
You got to
I mean,
scrap
yeah.
your
I mean,
resources.
that drastically changes once you have finished all the G3 research and you don't upgrade your epic G3 ships anymore. Then you're not really hurting for G3 uncommon anymore.
Right.
At least not in a significant sense. And if you don't have an unlimited amount of speed ups, because in the mid 40s, speed ups do become sort of an issue to some degree.
Yeah.
Then you also need like quite some time to actually get the buildings up. And then you just
Well, the Vault of
chilling.
Platinum is available, right? That must help.
Yeah, no.
Have you ever heard of anybody actually buying that?
Yes.
Really? Somebody actually bought that?
Yep.
Again,
How recently?
in the early game, it was worth it. Nowadays, no.
It wasn't. I think like a year ago, I know someone, but it was more of a joke.
They
It
did
was
it
a high-level player that just bought it because
okay.
maybe something happens if you do.
Oh, I gotcha. Like, why is this thing still here? I'm gonna buy it and see what this is about.
Yeah.
And what did they get? Just what it said, right?
Yeah, just what it said.
There was nothing. There's nothing special about it. That's awesome.
Well, I mean, you go back enough, like a year and a half, and for me, rating 1,000,000 tritanium was like, oh my god, I hit the gold mine. Now I get like 10 million from just like shards. Turn in some shards, get 10 million tritanium. So the game has changed. The packs progress, except for the Vault of Platinum. Why? I don't know. Ripper, can you give us some insight as to why Scopely thinks that's such a deal?
I have absolutely no idea. It makes no sense. In no way does it make any sense.
In your dealings with Scopely, how many things make sense?
Quite a few, actually.
Quite a few. Okay, that's some praise.
Not all of them. There are plenty of things that don't make any sense. But, at least in my opinion, don't make any sense. I'm not trying to generalize.
I'm sure the majority of as DG calls it, the community will agree with you. So let's talk about your mod. How's your mod progressing? Did you make any more changes?
Oh yeah, I'm working on new things. Something I've been tinkering with. Yesterday was unlocking 60 FPS or higher, synchronizing to the monitor frame rate, and I've also been playing with adding some hotkeys to certain things. But
That would be nice.
Can you help fix the broken nodes?
no, they're broken on the server.
And I'm assuming every server has nodes that are broken in different places.
Yeah. I mean, so the state they're stuck in, they're actually stuck in combat. Same goes for the broken armadas. Yeah, they're stuck in a
really?
combat
Okay,
state.
so effectively, people can break nodes in the game by effectively combating on that same node over and over again.
The exact reason and cause, I don't know, but I do know that they are for some reason stuck in combat. I probably some back-end issue with the database. I would assume that where some consistency is not there. But yeah.
So what can your mod do?
Fixing client-side bugs, and making the experience on PC a bit nicer than.
Well,
So
well
usually
first of all,
any
the jelly timers are fixed, and
Yeah.
and some of the display bugs, right, regarding how much things cost is fixed.
faction research that applies incorrectly in base is fixed, which also fixes the upgrade costs that you see. So upgrades will display lower, the correct amount now. Then the Stellar and ISS Jellyfish warp timers are fixed. I currently also have a fix for a technical issue where some remote requests are getting stuck. So yes, clients sometimes get stuck in like a scanning loop, which I identified and fixed. That's actually not Scopely's fault. But the Unity engine level thing. And
Really?
like
Here's
some quality of life things like UI scaling, and now that the hotkeys that I'm working on and stuff like that.
Have you fixed the North Star mining timer?
Not yet, but it's on my list to do.
That was funny. TJ was trying to tell you not to do it or not to bother.
I'm gonna do it.
You should.
DJ
You
doesn't
should
control
totally do
me.
it.
No, I know will. Just so I can do it. I also want to fix how Pike applies, so it doesn't apply to cargo increases anymore, because that's not what he does, but it shows in the client, which is confusing to people. And also
that only applies,
includes then warp, the warp range as well for Scotty and stuff.
but he does apply during combat. So
Yeah.
during combat, you'll keep more protected cargo.
Yeah, but it disappears after combat, so it doesn't matter.
Right.
Oh, okay.
It's a bug.
Yeah.
It's a bug. It's a bug. Are we ever going to get Barrett fixed, or his officer ability?
That's a good question.
Eventually, maybe. I mean, I'm assuming it's not very high on their priority list of things to fix. Because honestly, who uses that officer for that purpose, right?
Nobody. But it would be nice if he actually did what he said he did. I mean, people just want everything to work how it says it does. You know
And
what I mean?
they have been
Not that they
working on
really
fixing
care.
a lot of officers actually, like in the past 12 months. There've been quite a few fixes for officers.
Which is great. But it would be nice
By
if
the way,
everything worked how described.
I get alerts back on my phone, so the latest update must have fixed that. Because all of a sudden, I get alerts that my base is hit, and I get Armada alerts. I'm just like, whoa! I haven't seen this in over a year.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
But I've given up on mobile notifications in general. Discord is also one of those annoying applications. As long as I have the PC version of Discord open, I don't get any of the notifications on my phone, and when I close it, I get notifications for the past week.
Yeah.
Even the ones that I've already read on my PC. It's very annoying. So, yeah, Scopely is not the only company that doesn't get notifications right.
You should disable all of DJ's notifications, so he'll open his phone one day and be like, "Oh my god, I'm at 0."
All of his shit's gone.
Yeah.
You know, like with my mod, or I prefer calling it a community patch. I think that fits better because I'm trying to fix things. It's actually like just playing around, see what can be done, how difficult are some things to fix, and then reporting them back to Scopely so they can actually fix it for all players.
Right.
Is Scopely going to fix the visualization part that you created on their client, or are they not working on that?
Which one?
Where you could see the whole screen and like the icons are smaller, so you have more.
So they are playing around with UI scaling. I don't have a timeline on that, and I'm also not sure how much I'm allowed to share on that. But they know, and they are interested in doing something. Is what I'm gonna say.
That's the most vague answer. They're interested in doing something. Yeah, I mean, they
want to do something with UI scaling, and then they know that it's not ideal in the PC version, right?
Yeah. Let's on the PC version with a much bigger screen. I'll have the biggest freaking buttons as we possibly can because it scales from the mobile app.
Yeah, it's
The scaling is
yikes.
bad. Yeah, even on a
I
even
personally
on an iPad,
wouldn't have
it's
put
bad.
that. I wouldn't have put it out in that state personally if I were to make the decision, because I think that's just borderline unusable. But personal opinions.
Yeah,
Hey, personal
like
opinions are
assholes.
always valued here. And then Amorgin here can tell you that your personal opinions are just full of shit, but he probably won't do that.
But he should.
Right, Amorgin?
He's muted.
I would never tell Ripper that his opinions are full of shit. He's the only man that I've come across there that doesn't have an opinion full of shit.
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
Please tell us how you really feel, Amorgin.
About what?
Just Scopely in general. Just lay it out, man.
I actually haven't sent in a ticket in a while now, to be fair. Like,
Really?
Have you been playing a lot?
I've been reasonably busy over the last week, maybe. For a while there during the summer, I wasn't very busy. I was only getting on to do the dailies and stuff like that. But I've been having a wee bit of fun now for the last week or so.
Are you still?
I'm getting a lot of fucking lag. Like, the game's crashing every couple of fucking minutes at times, and it's freezing up on me at times and all that. There, when I'm on the phone, like. But I'm okay. I'm happy enough with it at the minute.
That's true. I have been experiencing a lot more lag lately, where I have the game open for maybe like 20 minutes and it'll crash. I don't know why. Ripper, do you know?
There could be multitude of reasons. So some of them I know from the PC version. So I'm not really looking into the mobile versions because that's just too annoying for me. But on the PC, I've noticed a few things that are a bit odd, but I don't have a clear path to fixing that yet, or what exactly the root cause is. But there are definitely some things that are a bit amiss. I think some actually it's actually like a recursive call where it's stuck in a recursive call loop and then just Stack Overflow and then the application just dies.
I see. Because I'll share with you one of my. I'll share with you one of my stories where I was playing Possum. This level, I think he was a level 35, so he was my level. He was trying to crack my base. It took like 15 shots with augers and enterprises to get through. And so what I wanted to do is I wanted him to crack the base, and then as he sends his miners, I'd repair one of my ships and just blow up his miners. And right at the point where his miners were, a few pixels away, I repaired my ship, and then my game crashed. And I'm just like, oh, God damn it. So I only blew up one miner, but he recalled the rest, because obviously I'm online. And I was just like, right at that moment where it's about to get fun for me, the game crashes. Like, oh man.
It's always like that too. It's always at the worst time.
I
know,
personally don't have many crashes actually. Not sure why exactly. Maybe it's just
Must be your server.
could be. Who knows? Who knows?
I mean, our internet infrastructure in the U.S. is kind of garbage. Just saying.
Yeah, but that would be surprising if that would be the reason.
I don't think it has to do with the connection. I think it has to do with the client.
Yeah,
But
how do
I've
we
had
know
my
that?
client running open in Coda Gamma for 12 hours now. No issues.
On your PC or on your phone?
On my PC.
Right. This is the phone app that I'm talking
Yeah.
about.
But I've also done like actually crashing my client. No, what sometimes happens is that like sometimes the app doesn't respond to claiming things anymore. So like the requests to the server appear to get stuck somewhere. That's what I have on my phone sometimes, but not that the app just closes. That I do not have.
No, yeah. So usually what happens is, and anybody feel free to chime in. I'm playing a game, and then the screen starts flickering, and usually it starts flickering when you're trying to open up some loot boxes, and then it'll crash, and then you'll click on the app again, and it'll just reboot.
But screen flicker I never had.
Does anybody else experience that?
I have. Or everything will go different colors, like everything turns pink and purple on the screen, and
I mean, that's probably
freaking
also
out.
device related, I would assume.
Lord Pete says my Windows client closes at least once a day while claiming a chest. Okay.
I know. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. It does to me. It doesn't always present the exact same way, but that's what it.
No, that particular situation never happens to me. I know for a fact, and I've been using the app on my phone also for many hours on continuously without issues.
Well, the same update that fixed all the mobile notifications has increased the crash rate quite a bit. So I'm assuming it has something to do with the latest update of the game.
On what device is that? Just out of
It's an Android.
what kind? What model?
It's a Motorola.
Model
Still
number.
make phones?
Yeah.
You don't remember the Razor? That thing was a piece of shit.
I didn't know Motorola still made phones.
Oh yeah.
It's about as surprising as someone coming at me with a BlackBerry.
Yeah,
BlackBerry still makes phones too.
of course they do.
Oh fucking no.
Nobody buys
Yeah,
them.
I have what's called a budget smartphone, meaning I'm not paying like $15,000 for a phone. I just buy like relatively inexpensive phone with.
Get the fuck out of here with your poor mouth and ass. I know what you own and what you do for a living. I'm not going to spread your business, but look, you can fool them, but you're not fooling us, fucking daddy warbuck bastard.
You're just a cheap son of a bitch.
That's all it is.
by design.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Actually, no. Like, all right, I'll explain to you why I don't spend money on myself. It's when I started my business, we had one product and one client, and as soon as we launched the product for our client, the volume went to 1/10 of what they promised, like almost out of the gate. So we built a business on expecting a certain amount of revenue, and then at once out of the gate, we're now in the red almost immediately. On top of that, 2 lawsuits followed, and if you know anything about American lawyers, they're not cheap. So there was a point in time in which I was actually paying rent for the business and then paying my lawyers. So that really depletes your bank account quite quickly. And so things of little importance, i.e., anything not essential, and even essential things I had to cut back, like food. It was like something I couldn't spend money on. So same thing with a phone, like clothes, whatever. Just like I had to cut everything out. And so kind of still living in that mindset because I was in that mindset for a better part of a year.
Interesting.
Makes sense.
It does make sense.
So that's why every time I look at the game and Scopely asks me, like, do you want to progress like 15 levels for $99? I'm like, I'm going to wait on this. And then 6 months later, okay, maybe I'll think about it. Maybe next month. Maybe next month.
It makes sense. Like, I was just giving you shit. I mean, we didn't need to hear you cry, but I mean, thank you for sharing your story. I'm just messing with you. Obviously. I'm just messing with you. It was a joke. It was a joke. It was a joke.
I was crying the other day, in the fetal position, thumb in my mouth and everything. But that was a different related issue.
We do. We all do that from time to time. It's healthy. It's good for you. Let it out.
Yeah.
But no, it makes sense. I mean, hell, the only reason I haven't the iPhone I have is because the older one that I had got catapulted across the room when I moved a blanket and shattered the screen. So it's the only reason I bought one. I'll have this one for the next 3 or 4 years. So I'm with you on that.
Yeah, and I've had this phone. The only issue with this particular it's called Moto G6. The only issue with the phone is you have to do some voodoo magic sometimes on the battery because inside it's poorly soldered circuitry. So you have to like kind of bend the phone backwards a little bit, and then the ports will reconnect, and you can charge the phone again.
Oh Jesus! How long have you had that
sounds
phone?
reason enough for me to just dump it and buy a new one.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing.
It only happens every. Actually, it hasn't happened in a long time, but I don't know. I've had the phone for at least a year and a half now.
It's time for a new one, buddy.
I mean, it was like $260. I mean, and
Go treat yourself. Go buy a $270 phone instead of a $260 phone.
I'll think about that. Okay. Maybe in a year or so.
Let me know in 6 months.
Yeah. I mean, that's like 3 Scopely packs.
Cheap ass.
I mean, that's usually a 9-month decision process. For Handy, it's like, I've already bought that yesterday.
Let's buy it again. That sounds good. My account's not at 0 yet. I can buy more.
Yeah. I guess that's why Europeans are smarter with their money.
Oh, I'm the perfect example of what you shouldn't do. Just saying.
Just make sure the number on your bank account always goes up.
Right. As long as you're doing that, you're good.
That's how I do it. Every month it goes up.
Stay out of lawsuits.
Oh yeah, that as well. But don't let you get pushed by some big companies.
That's right, Ripper. You tell them. Don't let them push you.
That sounds all well and good until you're the one having to foot the defense bill.
Yeah.
You're a bit more protected in the EU and especially in Germany compared to the US.
As far as
much more.
What?
Like when it comes to lawsuits and
Gotcha.
things like that.
Yeah, the United States is home to 3% of the world's population and 75% of the world's lawyers.
Isn't that just crazy? God.
Well, because in the United States, you're allowed to file a lawsuit for anything. Like even if it's frivolous, you'll still have to pay like $10,000 to go to court to get it tossed. Like that's
Yeah, that's
typical.
not how it works here.
It just doesn't make any sense. I don't know why we do it like that.
Because our lawyers write our legislation to
And
benefit
they want to keep
themselves.
making money. A
It's
lot of
pretty
it.
asinine.
It's just
It's
like,
it doesn't. A lot of the stuff doesn't make sense, man. I mean, look at some of the criminal laws you have. You know, if you do this, you're going to go to jail, and then you'll have to pay a fine. And it's like, okay, well, you got to go to jail for, you know, whatever. Let's just say you go to jail and or you pay a fine. It's generally one or the other if it's a misdemeanor. So you get arrested for whatever, and they're like, all right, the fine's $1,000. So let's just say you paid $1,000. But what the people don't realize is that the state has spent $4,000 paying everybody insurance, equipment, electricity, water, and all this shit to arrest you, bring you down there, book you, and all that stuff. So you end up losing money. It's asinine.
Mm-hmm.
and they shouldn't arrest those people to begin with.
Or
I mean,
it's
some of
either
them.
it's either like pay a $1,000 fine or spend a night in prison, or in jail
No.
rather.
No. So how it works in a lot of places, for example, where I was, if you were assessed a fine, and this is where it gets really weird, because you have a minimum wage law, right? There's a federal minimum wage. However, when you go to jail, to work off the fine, essentially, so you get credit for each day that you're there. It's converted into like an amount of money. So depending upon where you are is how much credit you get. So where I was at and where I worked, it was $25 a day. So if you got a $100 fine, that was 4 days. You know what I mean?
And how much did it cost to have that prisoner in there?
Oh God, you got to think, man. You got to feed these fuckers. You got to, if they get a boo boo, you got to fix it. If their tooth hurts, you got to pay a dentist. You know, if they have medications, you have to provide the medications for free. You know, all these other things, because you can't charge the inmate for, you know, this other stuff, because you're forcing them to be there and they require this medication, so you have to take care of it. So you got to think, man, the municipality, city, you know, state, county, whatever, the government entity is footing the bill for all these things, you know, healthcare and all that stuff. So what turned out at the end of the day, you say it's $1,000 fine, they go, screw you, I'm not paying you anything, I'll just sit in jail. Well, now you're definitely losing money. You're not getting anything. So, you know, you start looking at that stuff for the bigger picture. It ends up costing the taxpayers, you know, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 because this dude got caught with a joint. You know what I'm saying? Anyway,
Is that amount
That's
fixed
just
on how much you know a day in jail is worth for you know?
are you talking about, is it fixed? Yeah, from place to place, it is fixed. It just depends on where you go, because it varies from state to state, city to county. You know, it's different. Where are you at, Ripper? You say you're in Germany?
Yeah, I'm in Germany.
He's
Right.
near Hamburg.
So I lived in Germany for like 8 years. So Germany, it's a national police force, right? Like it's a federal police force. So
Well,
they have the
sort of.
same policies and procedures throughout the entire country. They may, you know, regions may have a little bit way different of doing things, but home office is going to dictate the vast majority of what they do. This is the procedure. This is how you do it. You know what I mean? This is how you whoop a dude's ass on the side of the Autobahn here. Same over here. But here, because it varies from state to state and agency to agency, I mean, you could travel 100 miles and travel through 4 or 5 different police jurisdictions that have different policies and procedures, and yeah, so
That sounds like a system to waste money.
Mm-hmm.
it's well, yes and no. I mean, there are benefits to it because, for example, you know, people that change laws in California don't affect me here in Florida, because the people down here is like, no, fuck that, we're not doing that. So when something's changed for one in one area, it's like kind of like gives you options. Like, yeah, I don't want to live over there where they don't let me do this and that and the other. I'm gonna go move over here. So it gives you more of an option. But Yeah, I think at the end of the day, when you start talking about, how money is spent and allocated and stuff like that, obviously it could be a lot better.
But we digress. So,
I digress.
back to STFC. So,
The game
tell
sucks.
us a little more about your server, Ripper.
Oh, are you trying something? I don't know if I should talk too much about it. You know?
I would.
Well,
I wouldn't if I were you. He's. That's exactly what you think he's trying to do. Is exactly what he's trying to do, bastard. Watch it.
Yes.
Be careful.
Yes, I'm tricky.
so okay. What do you want to know?
Well, I mean, is it like most servers where, the top alliance kind of dictates to the, kind of sets the
Preferably,
tone
what I
for
want
the
to know.
server? Not dictates, but sets the tone for the server. And is there a huge power disparity between the top alliance and number two, or is everything pretty equal?
So we
Also,
And
have
I want to know your mother's
so
maiden
power
name and your
wise, we
social
have
security
like
number.
two very strong alliances. One being a bit stronger, I guess. Dictates how it works. I don't actually think really that one alliance dictates really something. I mean, we have votes in our ROE thing. I don't know. I don't
so
really
is
care too much.
is the ROE kind of, is there like a Discord server or whatever, and all the
Yeah.
alliances are invited?
Yeah.
Most servers do it that way.
And then you can propose changes, and then the alliances vote on them, and then maybe they get implemented or not.
That's pretty typical.
Yeah.
All right.
But it's not
Are you
like
in leadership?
I
Ripper?
don't think it's like dictated by one alliance.
Are you a Commodore in your alliance or no?
I am.
Do you have to deal with everybody's crying?
No, I don't really do much. I just don't have time. I just don't have time.
Yeah. So it's an
Do
honorary
you
title
get
for you.
Do you get a lot of messages then as a Commodore?
No, none at all.
Everybody's learned not to message Ripper in game because they're not going to get a response.
I mean, they don't
Well,
they
nobody
don't
knows.
know that I'm Ripper, so that
No, I know. I'm just saying that
that's.
if a Commodore is known for never responding, people probably aren't going to
I
send
do
them a message.
respond if they write me, but they don't write me anymore. We have other people dealing with that.
Here's a question: Do you have
Nobody
a German
likes
name in game, or do you have an English name in game?
I have an English name in game.
I think most games on the EU servers just use English, right?
My
For the
alliance
most
chat
part.
is German because I'm in a German alliance at the moment.
So do they use German names?
Some of them, yes.
So your AC is typically speaking in German then?
Yes,
Okay, that makes sense.
almost exclusively.
Yeah, that makes sense. Which
So
is why
the only
it
time-
doesn't surprise me that different alliances, so EU servers typically have people from, all over, right? Like they'll have
Yeah, we have
many different
we have French
nationalities
people.
and
We have
languages.
some from Russia, UK.
So I guess that doesn't surprise me that people segregate themselves into alliances based on where they're from, because they want to speak their own native language, right?
I mean, I personally don't mind either way. I'm fine. English, German, both works for me. I just kind of
but-
happened to get into that alliance, and I've been with that alliance for a very long time now. So, and I don't really have a reason to leave.
Sure.
Have you ever done any alliance hopping? Like, have you gone to other
No.
alliances?
I have not.
Do you have interaction with the other different countries, like the French and the Italians and the Russians?
I mean, we have some non-German people in our alliance as well. French,
But they
United
speak
States.
German though, right?
No.
How do you? What's the universal language that you use to communicate then?
But they don't talk much in our chat.
So AC is, or GC, global chat, is typically dead.
Oh, no, GC is English, and some and sometimes Italian. We have actually a few Italian people on our server as well. And I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about, and I'm not going to translate that.
You would think the game, like if I was a game developer, I would put some kind of auto translate into something like that, you know?
Yeah, that would be like, I guess
Like,
on
how
a
hard would
United
that
States
be to
server,
add?
like on a US server, it doesn't really matter that much because I don't think you have many non-English speaking people.
Right.
I would assume.
Although we do have people from South America, because our servers are just the
Oh,
Americas.
yeah,
right?
true, but I guess not that many,
Canada.
right?
No, it's far and few between. Like I'd
Like
say
on EU
maybe
server, you
less
have
than 1%.
like some, depending on where you are, like half the people don't speak English.
Yeah,
Sometimes, that's significant,
that's pretty significant. Yeah.
and
Or
that does
either,
make things sometimes a
but
bit difficult.
do you think that they don't speak English or can't? You know what I'm saying?
Well, some don't, and some can't. I have a lot of people in my lines that only speak German. They don't speak English at all. They just can't.
Hmm.
And sometimes things do get lost in translation.
Yeah, I'm sure.
If you translate things slightly broken, sometimes the meaning of what you wanted to say doesn't come across the way you expected it to, and then
Yeah.
it happens.
So back to the translator conversation, it shouldn't be too difficult because other games like use some sort of engine that auto translates stuff. But the chat system in STFC is just so bad. Like, I wouldn't even implement anything on it.
I mean, I've seen worse.
Oh boy!
I mean,
Please give me an example.
worse
That's
maybe
worse.
in different ways. So, we at least do keep old chat messages, sort of. There are other games where they're just gone. You restart the app, everything is gone, clear.
Yeah.
Always, guaranteed. And I find that actually more irritating than the issues that we have in STFC, because like private chats are not really gone; they're just not listed.
Right.
You can get
Sometimes
back
they
to
come
them.
back.
And like if you open a new chat with the same person, usually the messages reappear. Like UI wise, one could argue. I mean, that's but in a technical perspective, it's not that broken, I think. I mean, the messages work, like chatting works. It's just like I think the only issues we have really is with private chats, right? I think. Am I missing something? I don't know.
No, I mean, yeah, most of the issues we have is private chats.
Which is, I think, more related to the client losing the list of the private chats that you had, which I'm not sure. I think those are not stored on the cloud at the moment. I don't know.
So they're client side, or
I am maybe. I'm not entirely sure on that one. But that's what I think. Anyways, I mean, Alliance chat and global chat or Galaxy chat works fine for me. Don't have any issues there.
Yeah, I mean, but that's probably server side. It seems like most of the issues we have in SDFC is client side, right?
Yeah.
And anything server side typically works relatively well, for the most part.
Yeah. Typically, there's some issues. So Amorgin, yes. I mean, as far as I know, nobody on my server knows who I am.
I'm sure they would have said something.
All right, let's roll back the curtain a little bit. And what about Ripper? How did you get into Star Trek? Do you remember? I mean, I know you don't remember what you ate for breakfast, which was like a few hours ago. But how did you get into Star Trek?
I honestly cannot remember. I think I just watched it on TV as a kid, and I found it fascinating. And then I just watched everything, and then kept that interest for Star Trek. I mean, I'm interested in tech and sci-fi, anyways.
What was the most interesting part of the technology that you saw on sci-fi or on Star Trek sci-fi?
I was always amazed by the replicator.
In which series?
Next Generation. Next Generation was the first show that I watched because I'm still young. All of that came out before I was born. So yeah, but on TV they reran Next Generation, and that's what I think. Yeah.
Wait, you said Next Generation came out before you were born? Oh my God, you are young.
I'm pretty sure, wasn't? Wait, let me double check that.
Came out in 1987, I believe.
Oh yeah, that was before I was born.
Few years? A lot of years?
I think. Okay, I was born when no, that completely aired before I was born. All 7 seasons.
Oh wow! Wow.
I was born in 1996.
Now I feel old as shit.
Yeah. So you're 25. Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm 25.
You're wasting your 20s sitting in front of the computer.
To each their own.
Oh my God. 25. Oh. What was I doing at 25?
Yeah, at 25, I was definitely out chasing ladies. And probably doing drugs too, but just saying.
At 25, I was out chasing dudes. At 25, I was out chasing down dudes who were out chasing drugs.
No, drugs I've already done. That was.
That was at 16, right?
Like 10 years ago, I think.
Yeah.
Was my drug phase.
As most people.
Yeah, I was trying to get a job at 25.
Oh, well.
I've had a job. I started working 9 years ago, actually. That's when I left school.
I love Amorgin's comment. He says, at 25, the ladies were bringing me drugs while I was at my computer. Good job, Amorgin.
That's awesome.
I guess Tech was out chasing computers, and
he was out chasing a degree.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know.
No, I had my degrees at 25. I was already done with my degrees.
Oh my God.
I was probably like 80 years old at age 25.
Oh, man.
Now this past week, I feel like I've aged like 300 years.
Walking with a cane yet?
No, I'm still pretty spry.
Okay.
Maybe once I get my observations, then I'll be walking with a cane. All right, back to Ripper here. 25-year-old Ripper. So you were fascinated by the replicator. What was so fascinating about it?
Are you fucking serious? What's not fascinating about it?
It's a fucking replicator, dude. You can make anything out of nothing.
Go get a chicken salad.
I think that's pretty self-explanatory, isn't it? Like,
yeah.
Like
It's
that's
like
fucking.
making things out of practically nothing.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
amazing.
it's base matter. They use base matter, right?
Yeah.
Like anything can be broken down into its base matter and then reconstituted in a replicator to
Yeah, it's
produce
just
something.
freaking. It's like what did you do? You lost your dick in a war? Boom! Go gadget, new dick. There you go. All set.
Yeah,
Well,
that's pretty
no,
nice.
I think I was more looking for like the technical reason behind things that Ripper would be interested in. Like, yeah, on the surface, oh, dude, like you order something and here it is. But when they establish more of the lore in Voyager about the recycling aspect of matter, I would imagine Ripper here would be more interested about like what is the function of how it breaks down and the reconstitution and how big it must be in order to achieve this kind of
Okay,
matter
so
energy
at the time I
transfer
watched
conversion.
The Next Generation the first time, I wasn't old enough to actually worry about those kind of things.
Nobody cares. Tech cares.
It's like,
Shut up,
when was
I
this?
care.
Like probably the early 2000s? I was young.
Tech cares. He's like, how does this theoretical thing work? And then even the producers are like, dude, it's fucking made up. Like, of course, like we don't know.
Yeah, but
Making
like,
shit up.
how big can it be? Because you got replicators in every quarter, right? So it can't be that big. So imagine this complex piece of technology is like handheld.
Yeah, but if you can imagine for a sec, it's not handheld. I mean, they're a big unit. It's like the size of like the old school mobile ATMs, right? Like you see in a gas station. It's just in the wall.
We're getting way too deep into this. We're starting to. Well, yeah, it's about the size of an automatic teller machine that you would normally see in a gas station setting. Like what? Yeah. I feel like Patrick Stewart when he went on Top Gear. This must be a terrible show, then. God damn.
So, anyways,
All right, what else interested you about Star? Did you watch all the series? Did you watch the new stuff with J.J. Abrams?
I've watched everything Star Trek.
He's seen it all. Have you watched the animated series?
I have. My
what's
problem
your
is
favorite?
that I probably cannot remember 90% of it.
Well, unless brought to your attention.
Yeah,
Right.
that's how most of it is. Not for Tech though. Tech will be able to recall. You remember season 3, episode 12, 12 minutes and 56 seconds into the show, there was a mole on the ensign in the background's left breast because she was wearing a low-cut shirt and she was supposed to be manning the fucking whoop-de-doo console, but over there she was at the fucking ha-ha or whatever,
Well, not
Pretty
everybody
amazing.
has photographic memory.
Oh, it's pretty amazing that he can do that.
Well, I'm sure anybody would have noticed a mole on an ensign's left breast if it was a woman in the show. I'm just saying.
Not if you've seen enough tits in your lifetime.
I've seen plenty, and each one of them is very distinct. Some not so much, but others, yeah.
So,
And I'm sorry, Ripper. I was the J.J. Abrams stuff. Do you like it better than the Berman stuff, or worse, or what's your opinion on it?
So on its own, I don't think it's bad, but I can see how some people may feel like it doesn't really fit into the overall Star Trek theme. But I generally didn't dislike it. I know that was a very vague answer.
yeah. But we're used to it. You're typically quite vague.
Sometimes it depends, like
You're just a dodgy motherfucker.
it's like those kind of questions are not really meant for me. I don't know. Expressing those kind of things is difficult for me for some reason. I don't know why, really.
Well, you're not human technically. You're part machine.
No, that's not
I
really.
thought this was going to be a German joke for a second.
Yeah.
You're not a human. Like, whoa, I can't wait to see where this goes. What? Why is he not?
Well,
Eh,
what do you say, Ripper? Are you part machine or are you a human?
I'm a human.
Are you sure?
I am pretty sure, yeah.
Yeah, man. He's got a dangle. He's got a nickname for it and everything. Calls it the Borschlaghammer.
Oh boy.
Is it true? Is that true? Is that true, Ripper? You know what? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We're gonna make it true.
with the response.
We're gonna make it true. We're just Handy. You're just gonna go on DJ's show, and you're gonna mention the Warschlag hammer, and everybody will understand.
Yeah.
We're gonna
So,
change his-
Ripper, how's the Warschlag hammer?
it's a-
Oh, Jesus.
Ripper has left the chat.
Yeah. So, anyways,
And I've just decided not to respond.
yeah, that's wise.
It's a smart decision.
Very
Although your
wise.
silence can be interpreted as as confirmation.
Well, any kind of response could be interpreted in many different ways. So
Perfect.
I don't think
Perfect.
it matters.
That's right. We could if you were to say no, we could accuse you of being defensive.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's all a lie.
So,
I mean,
Well, we're gonna make it true. Don't you know how the world works? You just say the lie long enough, loud enough, it becomes true.
next thing you know, somebody's gonna go into the server and change his nickname to.
ooh, I could do that on this server. Oh man.
Mm.
Did I? I don't even. To be honest, like I don't even know if I can't even remember if I said that right. I haven't actually spoken German in almost 20, close to 20 years. Didn't that roughly translate to sledgehammer, Ripper?
Yes, it does.
Yeah. Okay. So I did say it right. Anyway,
I mean, didn't sound like coming from a German person, but
How would you say it?
Vorschlaghammer.
well, I threw the stereotypical Americanized German accent on there for flair.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say it like I'm trying to bring attention to it. I'm not just gonna like say it like we're just having a conversation at a German hardware store.
So,
Can you say it one more time, Ripper?
I've said it once. That's enough.
dang.
Vorschlaghammer.
Warschlaghammer.
Warschlag? Is that how you say Warschlag?
With a V, the V.
Warschlaghammer.
V is in Victor. All right, moving on. I don't think Ripper's ever coming on here again. He's leaving our server. We're gonna get banned from all the servers that he's a member of.
Oh Jesus. Okay.
Hey, this show's already better because we don't have stupid news. All right, so
Yeah.
we got that going for us.
Where did the stupid news thing come from again?
It's just like one of those radio things, you know?
Well, yeah,
I think DJ's created it to lighten the mood before he starts the show. So he takes random headlines and makes terrible jokes about it.
Damn, sorry DJs. Did I give myself away that I don't actually really watch your show?
Yes, I think you did.
I mean, don't worry about it.
I
I
have.
don't watch any of the videos. I don't watch any of the blog posts. I don't listen to any of the podcasts that are produced unless I'm there live.
Yeah, that's
me
me.
and
Like,
Ripper were talking about this to do the same thing.
I jumped in live, but like 9 times out of 10 I jump in there. There's somebody talking, and if you're listening to this and this is you, I mean 100% full offense. Be offended because it's intended. So like there's people up there that are like asking questions and talking, but they're not really saying anything. They just wanted to get a chance to put their voice on a recording.
Yeah, that
And
happens a lot.
it gets really weird because they're like, so, like what I'm curious about is like, how do you refine materials? Do you just push the refine button? That's crazy. Just like obviously it's like an extreme example, but shit that's stupid like that. And you're like, why are you here? Can you like what's the you know, you just want to come
Typically, DJs is pretty good about
to have your
trying to filter those people out. You know, he boots them off the stage pretty much immediately as soon as he stopped talking, and then that's it. But yeah, it is silly. But any popular TV show or podcast or anything like that, I mean, people are gonna do that kind of stuff.
Well, they're generally screened though. Like I've called into a couple like little radio shows here and there, and every time they're like, what do you got? They're gonna make sure you actually have a good idea.
Sure.
And
yeah,
if not,
but
they're
you know,
like,
it's
cool,
like,
we'll look into it.
It's just harder to do that on Discord, you know?
yeah.
Like you would actually have to have somebody not in the podcast to be filtering people.
Well,
I mean,
either that or you have to PM them. You know what I mean? Like, hey, if you want to jump up, shoot a PM to so and so, and then you just have somebody listening to the podcast, and then you have, as they're reading the messages, they can hear which direction the podcast is going and figure out if that person has something valuable to contribute. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah, it could be done.
That could work. I mean,
I think the mods do that though for him, more or less.
I don't.
Some of them, maybe some of them, but
It was like, fuck that. I'm not doing that shit.
yeah, I mean,
I'm
typically,
I just
anytime
exist.
I raise my hand, nobody says anything. They just invite me up. But
Well,
'cause they
there's
know who you
some
are.
people like that, you know, some established people, you know, that
yeah,
are known.
I've spoken
Yeah.
enough times to where they know who I
We
am,
have-
so they invite me up. But
We have people like that are like that. You know, you got Amorgin. If Ripper ever jumps in, we would invite Ripper up. We have DJs is always welcome. You know, these are the people that when we see their names pop up, they automatically get an invite. Like they're allowed to be here because we know them. They're trustworthy. Like Ripper's saying, they're kind of a trusted person. We know they're not going to try to derail the conversation. We know they're not going to speak unless they have something valuable to contribute. So,
Right.
I mean, just like that, if you've spoken on there enough, and plus, DJ's been on our show several times. Like, it sounds super pompous, but people know about us and the show. So, like, if they see, you know what I mean? Like, they know that it's kind of same team, same goal. You know what I mean?
sure. Sure.
I made the same mistake V Ready did. I accidentally sent my pylon to Borg probes.
Oh yeah. Did you warp back out, or did you just go for it?
I'm just going for it now.
Yeah. That's what I would do.
I
If you
don't know.
wasted the token. So how many tokens do you have then? How many do you get a day?
What?
How many entry tokens to Borg space do you have?
The same as everyone. What?
I mean, you get 8. You typically 9 if you time it, right?
Yeah, but I very often do not do Borg probe hunting because I keep forgetting. So when the event started, like this current leaderboard, I had 19.
Oh wow.
So
If you had decided to go grind all of them, you would probably be able to win.
I would.
Yeah, there was at one point there was a glitch, and it was on my phone for one of the last events where they gave you extra warp tokens. Every time I logged in for like 2 days, I was getting that chest of tokens again, and it was adding up. Like I thought it was just a visual glitch, but it wasn't. And I got up to like, I got up to like 23 or 24 tokens
Holy crap.
before it finally stopped. And I was waiting for like one of these events because I was like, nobody's going to be able to win because I'll be able to get double the points. And then but then they've had little events along the way where I've had to use them, and so I just kind of gave up and just started using them. And then they have this event, and I was like, son of a bitch.
That's how it always works. But they do that. They do that on purpose because they know that there's glitches like that. And I'm sure that they release a few little events here and there.
Get it to level everything out before they release the real event.
Hmm. I mean, I would
And it's
imagine
actually
so.
pretty smart if they do. I don't know if they do, but
It seems like it to me. But maybe not. Maybe it's just coincidence.
The way they do these points for the dailies, for the battle pass, it's fucking weird. I hate this
Is it?
game. I hate this fucking game.
Ripper,
why is it weird?
would you recommend this game to a friend in real life?
No.
What about an enemy?
But I don't recommend any kind of games to any of my friends.
I like asking that question because every single time everybody says no, regardless of the reason. They always say no.
Ripper sounds like an
That's
interesting
interesting.
person.
What?
So you sound like an interesting person.
Yeah, for some reason he is interesting. I don't know why.
Yeah.
It's the elusive veil that he puts around himself. But the question about recommending this game, it's gotten to the point where if you're not in it already, it's not worth getting into. Like, it's not a game
No.
you could just get into anymore.
Well, it is, and I'll tell you why. Because there are newer servers. Like, for example, I talked to somebody the other day where their server was only a year old. Like, so they're still creating servers for new people because they kind of have to, right? Because people want to progress through the game with other people that have been playing around the same amount of time. So they keep making new servers for people that come into the game.
And to be fair, the experience for new people now is vastly better than the
Oh, yeah,
experience we had back in the day.
absolutely.
Oh, I could imagine.
However, there are a lot of things that people missed out on back in the day that if they were to start within the last year,
The one thing that I will say that we that have been playing for 3 or so plus years, the one thing that we have over all of the newer people is that as new content it was released, we're able to learn it as we were going. So it wasn't like trying to drink out of a freaking fire hydrant. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah,
So-
but the
so
new
as
content
these
still
things were
unlocks
dropping,
the new content for new people still unlocks on a curve. It's not like
Yeah, you don't
reach
get
a
it all
certain
at
level
once.
and you get everything.
no, I
There's still-
understand that. But the thing is, as a community, we were able to learn. Let's say
Oh,
you
yeah,
jump in
I
some
saw that,
server and
yeah.
you're low level, and you get there and you're like, shit, what do I do? And everybody's like, dude, I don't remember. I did that shit like a year and a half ago, 2 years
Okay,
ago. Like, I don't.
I get what you mean. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
So,
Nice.
as a community, you're able to learn as you're going. And I think that that's definitely a benefit that we have over, sort of the newcomers. And I think that's super beneficial. And it's really cool to see the stuff as it's coming out, because you have these experiences. We all have stories to tell. It seems silly because it's a little mobile game, but, it's, we all have like a story, everybody has a glitch, or everybody can remember, a broken data node and all this stuff. And a lot of these things have since been fixed, refined, nerfed, buffed, whatever the case may be. A lot of people don't remember what it was like to have some asshat and a maxed out Saladin just completely knocking everyone around because it was so overpowered, and things like that. I still remember when the jellyfish was powerful as hell. I think Handy, you and I were talking about that
Those
a while
dark
back.
times.
Yeah, we were talking about. I mean, you had people with jellyfish just going around, just demolishing anyone and everybody.
Everybody.
Like even on EU servers, it was a wild west back then. During that
It
time.
was, I mean, but it's it makes you appreciate Like the people that I hear whining now, especially the lower levels that are whining about ROE and stuff like that, and how it's like having some sort of ROE is stupid, and people should just do whatever they want. I'm like, dude, you don't remember the G2? You weren't here during the G2 days when it was you could mine like 50 of something, and then someone would knock you off the node, and if you didn't go out and buy a jellyfish, the original jellyfish, you just weren't getting that node back because they were just going to keep knocking you around.
Well, not only that, anytime you don't have any rules on a server, people end up just quitting the game because they get too frustrated and don't want to freaking deal with it.
That was me for a little while. I stopped playing this game. Well, I say stopped. I didn't actively really do much. I would get bored maybe once a week or so, and I would jump in and play for a little bit and just blow stuff up and run a couple missions and try to do a few things. But for like about 3 months, I lost out on a lot of progress because it just wasn't all that big of a deal. And then I got bored with Star Trek Timelines because I was playing that, and I had gotten to a point where I was just really bored with that. So I kind of went back to STFC, and it ended up sticking. But definitely a lot of fun back in the day. I think I honestly the most fun that I had playing this game was probably between like level 22 or 23 to like 30 or 31. I think that's the most fun that I had.
I would agree with you, actually.
Because now
I
it's
used
just
to have a grand old time running around trying to raid people and
there's stuff like that, and you didn't have to mine Isogen. You didn't have to go get these little stupid tokens from Rogue Space. You didn't have to run these armadas. You didn't have to scrap this ship. You didn't have all this other stuff. You had like Augment Space, and people would run some armadas occasionally, and that was it.
Well, that comes down to like we have too many things to do all the time.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah.
Right.
I think they've added a little bit too much to the game, personally.
Yeah,
it's a time suck. It sucks all your time into those things, and then like your time allotment for playing the game is over.
Yeah, I mean, by the time you get done turning stuff in and recalling miners and swapping miners, you've already spent 15, 20 minutes playing the damn game. And for a game that's on your phone, for most people, that's a lot of time.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is, and stuff starts adding up. So, luckily I have a business, and I run it, from home. I got a little part-time business that I do, and I'm able to run that from home. So I have more time than the average person. But I could imagine if I was having a 9 to 5 every day or some sort of shift work, it'd be a pain in the ass. And I think you're right. I think that's why I hadn't thought about it until now, but that is exactly why I think I had fun, because I was actually able to focus on the core of the game, raiding and grinding and going out and try to find some PvP. Now it's like, I'm out of Borg tokens. I got to go grind some Borg. Oh, and then I also have to go get some of these keys from Rogue Space. Oh, hurry up, recall this. I got to swap it and make it to this mud mata because I got to. Like it's just too much. I like the content where they release like, here's some new officers, or if they would release some new ships that weren't specifically for one thing, because it's ridiculous. You've got the Stella, you've got the Vidar, you've got the Meridian, you've got the Sarcophagus, which was the biggest fucking failure this game has ever seen as far as the ship is concerned.
Oh, that was awful.
God,
I mean,
I have
people
one, but
found quite a good use for the Vidal though, so that wasn't like a terrible.
So the Vidar was definitely a ship because, for one, unlike most of the other ships, the Vidar is useful both for the PvE with the Borg and PvE grinding, and it's also useful for PvP, and it has a higher cargo capacity. It's a fantastic ship, especially if you're in the mid to higher 20s, whatever it is, 27, 28. That is a fantastic option. You can completely skip your Saladin or your level 28 ship, whatever it is, and use that. It's a fantastic option, but for the most part, the rest of the stuff, whatever. Like, here's an Isogen mining ship. Why didn't you just release an officer that increases mining speed by 20,000% or whatever, Just do that.
Yeah, because
I mean,
Why
it
do you have to
doesn't
release the whole
doesn't,
ship?
it, but
it
it
makes
doesn't really
them
make
more
a
money.
difference if it's a ship or an officer for these kind of things, because you still have to do it.
Well, the benefit to the ship is you can run more than one. If it was an officer, you only have one officer. They're
That's
not
true.
going to release 4 carbon copies of an officer. So if they
That is
think that
true.
people are going to want to do more than just one, then they have to release it as a ship. So I mean that makes sense.
And I'm constantly using 2 meridians.
Yeah, I always use
So.
3. Like if I'm in a mine, I'm going to do it and get it done. So I agree with most of the the way they did certain things and whatnot, but it would be really nice if they I don't know, didn't add any more things like this. Like if they were to add a whole new faction, like I think that would be really neat. So instead of adding like a niche thing, like they have like these things that you have to go and spend a bunch of time on, right? And it's very niche. You can't use it for anything else but that. Like I don't think we need any more of that in this game. We need more
No.
general content,
Yeah.
something that can be applied to anything we do in the game.
More integrated into the existing game loops we already have.
Correct.
Right. Right. Yeah. I can
Because
get behind that.
if they keep on with the way they've been going, they're just going to keep losing people because it gets overwhelming. It's like, oh my god,
Yeah.
they're going to release some.
I can
New-
also see why they do it, because balancing that is a bit easier, because then like if you
Oh sure.
like, for example, if you have things that you have to upgrade, right, and the upgrade cost is the same as the old stuff, then you kind of have to increase also the supply of them to make that viable, right? Because you have to
Right.
spread it out more, but that could imbalance things in a way you don't really expect.
Well, it's a lot easier.
So-
It's a lot easier to release something new than to go through and think about how something's going to affect every other piece of
Yeah.
existing gameplay.
Exactly.
And so,
Exactly.
like you say, like
It's
we
just lazy, and it's creating more work for us, more
but-
game time of dinking around with this new content.
at the end of the day, I've said it before, okay, and people can disagree with me all you want to, but it's kind of like the old shop at the old mechanics. It's like you can have anything, it's just cheap, fast, and good, and you can only pick 2.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so it's one of those things, like you're pumping out content, and you want to pump out content every month, which is cool. But here's the deal: I remember back when that was not the normal thing. It wasn't new content every month. I still do
Yeah,
that.
I
people
actually
can.
think maybe they should take.
I think most of us
on
can.
things.
Exactly.
No.
Why do you have to? Here's the thing. I get it. I understand. That's what we are now accustomed to, having new shit every month. But if the quality could be increased, even by a factor of 30-40%, I'd be willing to wait 2 or 3 months in between arcs, because it would be better quality, and you could throw the regular events out there, the Crucible of War. You can throw some Apex events.
You can design a regular schedule of filler things between them, like
Sure.
Yeah, and here's the deal. What if
They
you
already
just
have it all in place.
don't
They don't even
have-
have to do anything.
That's what if you just don't have big event? I remember back in the day when the daily event was just like a simple hostile hunt or whatever. But I know why they're doing it,
Yeah.
because for a couple of reasons. One, I've said it before, I'll say it again. Star Trek Fleet Command community is the whiniest community of gamers of any game
Oh, yeah.
I've ever played or I've ever heard about, period, hands down. And me included, everybody up here included, we're guilty of it. But I think that if they can figure out a way to just slow down, pump the brakes, if you start putting out quality content, we will see that waiting is worth it, and we'll shut the fuck up. All you have to do is put out quality
Or some will
content.
some will shut up, some won't.
Yeah, let's be fair here. There's always going to be people that won't shut up regardless of what they do. So.
But the thing is that I honestly feel like at the end of the day, most of the people that are making the biggest racket are the ones that are still going to keep playing the game. These people have been threatened to quit the game for like a year and a half. Yet here they are every day logging in, logging in at event change over time, seeing what's new. So, I don't see it. I don't see that changing. But I mean, there's a lot of things that they could do. We had talked about bringing in new factions, real factions, not here's some weird faction with a stupid ship. The Cardassians, bring those in. Bring in the Ferengi. Bring in something with their own level 26, 28, 30, 32, 34 ships, and run the whole gamut. And you could do all those things. Yeah, it might take some moving around and a little moving around for battle triangles or whatever. But I mean, we got to do something here. You got plenty of maps to use.
I think there's also a bit of in the game designers maybe a bit of fear changing the status quo.
Yeah, because any big changes you make to the game could upset people.
Yeah.
Well,
and there's so many implications that they may not foresee. And
well, here's the deal. What's the most recent thing?
Well, look at it this way. So there's so many problems that could come up, like we just talked about. I mean, if you go adding in a whole nother faction, like it becomes an option, I think. Like they just need to do it in such a way that doesn't require that people do it, but it gives everybody the option to do it. Just like
it's not an easy thing to do.
No, I understand that. And that's probably why they won't do it, but it would be amazing if they did. And I think a lot of people would like it.
I would love it.
Yeah. I mean, a whole nother, faction and lineup of ships that you can go play around with and figure out how they work and, go weigh them against the other factions. And I mean, that would be amazing. It'd be like starting the game over almost, That'd be pretty cool. But I don't think they're going to do it. I mean, especially if you look at how they've been doing things, they're probably just going to continue down the same road. But that's unsustainable. They can't keep doing it like that. I mean, think of what this game's going to look like in another year or two. I mean, they'll just keep adding so much crap that nobody can keep up. What are you going to play 8 hours a day to do your dailies?
We are already at the point really where you can't really add much more.
Right. So what's their plan then? I mean, are they just hoping that people get quote unquote done with a particular part of the game and just move on to something
but then
else?
you also have to think about the new players. That doesn't work,
Well, the only way I can see it working is all the new content that they're going to add is only for 4-star and up, right?
Yeah,
but then you're going to start losing
have enough
lower level
players there yet for that to work.
No, I agree with you. I think they'll end up pissing off
the majority is still in the 30s. So
yeah, but they're trying to push people into the 40s though, and they're doing a pretty decent job. I mean, they're obviously trying to prep people and push them to the 40s and prep people for what's to come. I mean, it's fairly obvious.
Yeah, I mean, the average level on our server is high 30s. So, that's what it is. People it's like you say, it's almost like they're trying to low-key groom everyone for G4 life,
Mm-hmm.
And get you introduced to that, because it does change things. Like Ripper was saying a while back earlier, mining G4 and refining it, it's like pissing into the wind.
Sure.
It's almost useless. I did it there for a while because if you need common materials, because common is another huge thing once you get into the 40s, because that shit is expensive to people. Like, oh, I'll just use Latinum. It ain't like G3.
Very
So
expensive.
it's very expensive. So, when you need, 60, 70 something thousand common, and you go to click on buy now, and it's like, oh yeah, 687,000 latinum. I could understand that, but as far as the uncommon mats, no, man. Once you get to G4, if you want to mine it because you enjoy mining, like some of our friends over at one of the other larger alliances, then hey man, go for it. But yeah, it's basically a waste of time. The only thing that I mine now is the freaking isogen as well.
Yeah, I'd say that's pretty typical.
And like with the cost reductions in the territory research tree, it's also like, making that kind of even less relevant.
Yeah.
Because essentially what you would have gotten like mining the G4, you just get it in reductions, I guess.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Exactly. Your time's better spent, somewhere else. And I mean, if there's a mining event, then yeah, to get that and then hit the refine button, see what you get. But when your average, I think like it cost me 24,000 uncommon, or to make the jump to go to 42. Like every time I hit refine, I'm getting like 20 or 30 uncommon. Nah, man, that ain't it, bro. It's just a waste.
I mean,
of
of course,
time.
like if you do all the things, of course you're gonna, progress faster. But it's just like, I don't want to spend so much time mining G4 because you need so much to refine, right?
Yep.
For such little progress, it's just not. It's not engaging for me.
Of course not. But how most people do it is they just leave ships up there and just sit there and mine it, right, when they're not playing. And when they log on to play the game, they just bring their shit home, right? Recrew it and go play the game.
Yeah, but there comes a point where you have to find a node, and then there's no node free because
Yeah.
the more people get into G4, the worse it's gonna be.
Well, just like my story earlier, I literally had to blow somebody up that's
Yeah.
it was against our ROE. And I went and I blew him up anyways because I couldn't find a freaking node. I didn't know what else to do. And I'm like, I'm not going to sit here all day.
Yeah, then those things come into play, and then it's just like, well, this is just annoying now, right? So I've for me decided just not to do it. It's probably not the smartest thing to do, but oh well.
Yeah, I mean, you got to pick and choose what you do in this game because, like we said, you just can't do everything because of the time required to do it. I mean, for people that work from home and their jobs don't require them to be actively engaged in something else, like if they have lots of idle time in their particular job, it's great for them because they can sit there and diddle on the game while waiting for whatever. Like some jobs just require a warm body to be there and have a pulse, and for those people, they can do whatever in the game, and that's great.
Oh.
But
I mean, I work from home, but I'm a software
but you're
engineer, so I have to
you're
type.
actively engaged in other things. Like there's only so much you can do. Like Marvel, you can sit there and hit autoplay, right?
Yeah.
Because you don't have to actively play it, but STFC just isn't like that.
But the autoplay in Marvel doesn't help me much anyhow. So.
Yeah, but you can occasionally glance down and click the button to make it continue.
Yeah,
if you're
but
doing missions.
in the missions, like the bosses, you do have to play manually.
True.
So.
But the in-between parts, you don't.
That is true. But then once you're done with the missions, which you can get done in like a week, there's nothing you can do to autoplay anymore.
Yeah,
because
it's
then
all
it's
active.
just the rest of the content is actively engaged content.
Right.
Even in a Marvel game, so
True.
I don't know.
Yeah, there's just not many good options for passively playing games.
No. Which I guess makes sense because it's a game. You're supposed to be engaged with it. Yes.
I suppose so, but they've created a scenario in where people would like to passively play the game to get loot, right? So,
Yeah.
I mean, they've created that scenario where that's, interesting or desirable.
I guess like like a passive mining feature would probably be nice. Like, hey, this ship, find a node that is free, and then sit there, and when you're full or over cargo, go back. I guess.
Sure.
Maybe
Just some
when it's
simple
full,
commands.
maybe not when it's like overprotected. Maybe not, because that would be bad,
Yeah.
I guess. But maybe just when it's full or when the node is empty, just refresh and
Sure. Yeah, I think that.
I don't think that would hurt anything really.
I don't either. Aside from you would see nodes always full. That would be the one downside.
Yeah, but
I mean,
then
can you
people
imagine if
would
everybody?
adapt, right?
Yeah, I mean, it would just have to be written in a row. Like you're able to blow up miners if they're completely full, or I don't know. But imagine like all nodes are full all the time because everybody's ship is auto playing.
Yeah, but
Even if
that's
they're
fine
mining.
because the RE is just a player created thing. We can adjust and adapt to changes in that.
Yeah, we could. True. That is true. But we probably won't have to worry about it because I doubt they're going to do something like that.
Yes.
Join us next week for more shit that'll never happen.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, all right.
But
It's been
fun
real.
to
It's been
speculate.
fun, but I'm gonna go ahead and jump on out of
Yeah,
here now.
just let's wrap it up here. Ripper, thank you for joining. I hope this has been fun for everybody. You're more than welcome to come on the show more oftentimes because there's no stupid news.
Right. We'll see.
And
We'll see. Maybe I can find some time.
we'll jump over to the after party after this for anybody that wants to
That's
join
right.
and chit chat.
Yep. Thanks everybody.
I'm
This
gonna
has
eat
been
dinner
Trend
now, so
What's that?
Talk. Yeah.
I'm going to eat dinner now because it's 7 p.m. and I haven't eaten yet.
Oh. Enjoy your pizza.
No pizza.
It's a burger. It's a burger.
Not today.
All right, guys. Thanks everybody for listening. Ripper, Amorgin, you guys have been great. This has been Trek Talk. I'm Techman16.
Strange Handy.
Strange. Motherfucker.
Cut you off.
We'll see you guys next time.